lot of things. I'm afraid of the dark, of public speaking, of dying alone, of those awkward greetings where he goes for a handshake and I go for a knuckle bump and I end up looking like an absolute chump. I'm afraid of looking dumb. There's so much to overcome. I'm afraid of being mugged, that I'll never find true love. I'm afraid that my wife will wake up one morning and say she's had enough. And I'll be like one of those bums that you find on the street corner, just asking for some spare quarters. You see, no matter how old I get, I can't seem to loosen the grip of fear from my lips. I used to have a stutter and a lisp. My S's would sound like this. And it was so embarrassing to where even now the remnants of my stutter and lisp play a much bigger emphasis on my life than I care to admit. I can't seem to forget the not too silent diss from the kids in middle school saying, "Silly Michael, spit it out," sounding like Porky the Pig with a sponge in his mouth, soaking up all the S syllables as I would stumble over my words until I would just stop speaking so my stutter wouldn't be heard. And I know that may sound absurd, but I used to think that I was just this little dude whose throat swelled up in interviews for fear that stuttering is not what winners do. I used to tell girls that they could pick some bigger dude who can converse over dinner food without sounding clueless like Mr. Magoo. But one day God said, "Michael, in your weakness my glory will shine through." And I don't really know what happened. It was definitely not from any of my actions. Like a Holy Spirit chemical reaction, my stutter was soon overcome. So this is for the ones who think that no one notices, whose days are filled with hopelessness. I am living proof that you have a purpose, that your testimony goes further than just what is on the surface. Because if God could take David, a little shepherd boy, and make him king with no bloodline of royalty, if he could use Paul, a man who hated the church, to become the leading ambassador of the gospel, if he could use the disciples, men who were told that they were not good enough to become the foundations of the church, then he can use you. So don't give up and don't count yourself out. Don't sell yourself short when you have the Spirit of the Lord. Because there's no one who can break you, no one who can take you, no one who can shake you, because the one who created you is bigger than all of that. He's bigger than all of your fears from all of those years and those tears of crying on your pillows from those years of wanting to be normal. But God doesn't use those who are normal. He uses those who are willing to be themselves. So be you, the individual, not the you that you piece together from magazine models or Nicholas Sparks novels. Be you, the uniquely created, special and sacred individual, you, the one with experiences, opinions, and beliefs, the things that make you unique. Your scars, share them. Your broken hearts, wear them. Don't let others' critical remarks pierce you in the arms like barbs where they hold you back from being you. Stay true to being you. No matter what others might do, stay true to being you, because in your weakness, God's glory will shine through. To stay true to being you.
pictures? Hey! Who shot the camera?
Should I use a handheld? She's on. I don't know if I have it hooked up right, but we'll make do here. First of all, can we please give our teens a round of applause? They have been working very hard for many weeks, and blood, sweat, and tears. And just for a second, can I have all of our leaders stand up? Just all of our leaders. Everyone stand up. Stand up, stand up. You guys can stand up. If it wasn't for our leaders, there would be no youth ministry. There would be no teen takeover. Our leaders are absolutely amazing, and I give pretty much all the credit to them. So I thank you guys for working hard with our teens these last few weeks. I'm going to try really hard not to be emotional for a couple reasons. I'm tired. I was up at 3:40 this morning, could not sleep. I was so nervous about this morning, and public speaking is like top of my fear list. So it's kind of the perfect thing for me to be doing today. So everyone in this room has felt fear. Every single person, whether it was due to an unwelcome furry friend that just ran across your room, fear that you might lose somebody that's very close to you, or fear that you just bombed that evaluation. We have all felt fear in some sense. Now, just for the fun of it, I want you all to just think for a second about that one thing that you are most afraid of in this entire world. Just think. I'll give you a second to think about it. On the count of 3, I want everyone just to yell it out. Okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, I didn't hear a lot of those, but mine's tornadoes. Okay, mine's tornadoes. Some of those we might have heard might be of mice, spiders, frogs, Travis Decker. All right. Let's not tease Travis too much about being afraid of frogs. Now I want you guys to take a second. I want you guys to think about high school and middle school. Now, I know for some of us that was a long time ago. But I want you for just a second, think about what you were afraid of in high school or middle school. I'll give you a second because files are probably way in the back and dusty and you got to figure out what they were. Now, again, on the count of 3, I want you to yell what that fear was, okay? 1, 2, 3. People, David said. Okay, so for me, it was my 6th-hour algebra class with Mr. Mick. Now, for those of you that don't know me that well, I suck at math. Like, I am the worst person to ask a math question to. Don't let that picture fool you, all right? That man don't smile for anybody but his wife. So that smile is a fake and a lie. No, but Mr. Mick scared the bejesus out of me. Every day I went in his class. First, I'm horrible at math, and he scares the poop out of me. So naturally, I would get chosen on a day. Okay, wait, let me back up here for a second. Mr. Mick's favorite thing to do was to randomly select students to come to the front of the classroom in front of everybody and solve math problems. Now, for somebody who is not good at math, this is terrifying. So naturally, he comes in one morning, grumpy as all, like this face. You just know when he walks in, oh no, this is gonna be a bad day. So he walks in and he yells, I hope you all wore your deodorant today, kids, because you're all going up to the board. I remember it like it was yesterday. I can't forget it. And just a little backstory on Mr. Mick. He is most famous for his hygiene speeches. First thing every year, he gave the most outrageous hygiene speech. So you would never forget to put deodorant on, all right? Like, no offense, you guys, but y'all should wear deodorant. Like, more. Okay? All right. So now you guys are probably just thinking, just sit in the back of the class, Kathy. It's okay. He'll just be quiet. He probably won't even notice you. Wrong. All right? Let me just put this in a little perspective for you. Our classrooms were very small. We went to a very small school, and my graduating class was 42, okay? 42 seniors in my graduating class. So our classrooms were very small. So there is no such thing as hiding in the back of the classroom. So, all right. So he's up at his desk. He's calling all these names out. All right, my heart's clenched. All right, I could feel it literally trying to pound out of my chest. My hands are sweaty. I'm just wiping it on my cheer uniform. I know my name's going to be called soon. I know it is. I know. And I could feel I'm going to be sick. I can feel I'm violently going to be ill. And then all of a sudden, he yells, "Brady!" That was my maiden name, if anybody's wondering. And then I get up. And I don't even remember walking to the board. I was so frightened. It's a total blackout. I remember nothing, not one thing. I get up there, and my only saving grace was the fact that it was the end of the hour by the time that it was my turn, and the class had gotten a little rowdy, and he had to pull attention to that. Thankfully, we had an interpreter for a student that was already at the front of the class, and so while he was distracted, she leaned in and helped me with my equation. She was my saving grace, and I, to this day, will never forget or be more thankful for that, for her just leaning in to help me. Now, what I want to know is, what would you get if you asked a teen today what they feared? As kids, we practice tornado drills and fire drills. Today, our kids have to practice lockdown drills and active shooter drills. They have assemblies on anti-bullying and lessons on if a friend is suicidal. The fear we had as kids are not the same as what our kids have today. So how do we teach them? How do we teach them to not fear, or what to do when they fear? It's all in our Bibles. It's right there in our Bibles. So how do we teach, So how do we teach them to navigate fear? If we can just teach our kids to turn to God and listen to his answers, and he will deliver them from all of their fears, just like it tells us in Psalms 34:4. Now, when I say we, I don't just mean our youth leaders, okay? We need the whole church body teaching our teens. When you are afraid, I put my trust in you, just like it says in Psalms 34:4. We need the prayer team teaching them, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, just like it tells us in Philippians 4:6. Because we know the power of prayer is a weapon, and it's powerful. We need parents teaching them, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me. You have heard this verse several times this morning, Psalms 23:4. Because there is no one on this earth, parents, no one on this earth that knows your teens like you do, even when they're acting like aliens. Okay? They're still in there. We can't teach them alone. We can't. We only get a couple hours a week with them. Parents can't do it alone either. They have to work. They have jobs. They have go groups. They have Bible studies. They have all those important things that they also need in their lives. They can't do it alone. Us as a body, as a family, these kids are your kids too. We have to teach them. We can't just teach them through the Bible. They have to witness us. We have to practice what we preach. All right? Now, I'm going to leave you with a verse today. I know, y'all are like, woo, we're getting out of church early. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with this today, all right? If the band wants to come up. Real quick before I leave you with that last verse, two things. The video that you guys watched just before our drama team came up is Spring Hill Camp. Our teens are excitedly attending Spring Hill this February. If you don't know anything about Spring Hill, or maybe you do, it's an absolutely amazing retreat for our teens, and it's a weekend retreat, and we are currently fundraising. So every time you buy a pop, that money goes towards our kids for camp. Every time you guys buy a breakfast burrito, it goes to our kids for camp. If you want to just donate, that's awesome. If you want to hire a group of our teens to rake your yard or shovel your driveway, we will happily do it, right? Yes. Also, it is Pastor Appreciation Month. And to celebrate Joel and Kelly, we are getting them a gift basket, but also at the connection corner in the back, there are cards. If you guys want to fill out a card for Joel and Kelly, George has got one waving around in the back there. If you guys want to fill one out and put it in the little box that's back there, we would appreciate it, all right? So I'm going to leave you guys today with Ecclesiastes 12:13. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. So today, with all that being said, I now dub all of you Stand Student Ministry Leaders.
Good job.
Shaken.